what we're talking about right now is questionably credible.
Yeah.
The idea that this is an
Yes.
intelligence failure is not on its own even credible yet.
Right. And because it's so soon after the fact anyways. It's,
Well, not only that, but
Yeah.
we're talking about one news source.
Yes.
Only the Financial Times has
Yes.
broken this story.
Yeah.
All of their witnesses
Mhm.
are anonymous.
Right.
They're talking to anonymous Border Patrol. They're claiming that they are talking to anonymous people who are knowledgeable of Border Patrol activity and closed circuit television monitoring efforts. So we have no idea even what type of source they're talking to. We don't know if they're talking to somebody inside the IDF. We don't know if they're talking to somebody who's a brother of somebody inside the IDF. There's no source chain of acquisition here that we can use to even call the reports credible. And the fact that they're only coming from one place, one news source, is so it calls everything into question.
True.
But my point is, if there is validity to it, then it's going to make for a very difficult conversation moving forward, because now we start asking ourselves the questions: did the intelligence services know this was coming? If so, which intelligence service knew it? Mossad or Shin Bet?
Right.
Because Shin Bet, if Shin Bet knew that there was actually, Shin Bet being the internal law enforcement, national security arm of national security for Israel, if Shin Bet knew and simply rejected it, that's a bad day. Yeah. If Mossad knew, they don't really have charge for protecting the homeland inside the homeland. Their job is just to communicate it to Shin Bet.
Yeah.
But then there's also a third group, the military intelligence wing, that falls under the IDF. If they knew it, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And who's the one making the decisions, and how's the hierarchy working? And and you're right, the hubris is significant, but I mean, all the Hamas since 1987 has existed with one purpose: to destroy the state of Israel and replace it with the state of Palestine. That's been their goal.
Right.
To think that they would ever just stop making that their goal takes a pretty incredible amount of hubris and ego.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Hamas has been under a very specific disinformation operation for the past, I think they said 5 years, where they have been trying to placate the right-wing fundamentalists in Israel to make them believe that they are totally satisfied to be ruling in Gaza as long as they're getting aid and food and fuel, and that the West Bank is the real problem.
Yeah.
And now for the last year and a half, all resources have been focused on the West Bank, and nobody's been paying attention to Gaza.
Yeah. And which I think is very smart of them, and I think is fascinating because it's
very tactical. Very tactical of the Hamas strategists.
Right. And it's been used before in other places in the world. It's not like this is a completely unheard of strategy. You know, it's interesting to me. And I think that, just like you said, when you can't fully verify a source, it's important to just take that information as one data point in your ongoing assessment, right? You can't say, oh my gosh, I read this article. This is true. This is the way it is. It's one data point, and you keep it as a part of the conversation, but you have to remember that it's one data point in this larger ongoing assessment, that you will continue to read the news and read the updates, because it's going to take a long time for the truth of it to come out. And the important thing, I think, to do now is to start really looking at what happened to try to understand so those mistakes aren't made again. And on the other side of that coin, they really need to figure out what to do, because the Israel-Palestine situation is absolutely unsustainable. And something has to be radically changed moving forward. They need to figure it out, because like I said, this wasn't a surprise to me. This could have been avoided years ago if they had just,
Unfortunately, the whole world agrees with you when you say the words, they need to figure this out.
The Israelis and the Palestinians.
Everybody sees it as their problem.
And anybody who wants to help them.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying the truth of it is, even as we sit here, we have an opinion. Everybody has an opinion.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to where the rubber meets the road, for the vast majority of people, they push that problem off and they say, it's your problem, you figure it out. And when you push that problem to Israel and Palestine, what you're actually doing is you're pushing that problem to the third richest country in Asia, basically, and the poorest subjected group of refugees anywhere in the area.
Yeah, and because
and when you tell them they have to figure it out together,
and
it's kind of it's a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, and issues involving land and resources are always the most complex.
Yep, and they're always going to go to the person with the most money and the most guns.
Yeah,
and that's just the way it is for now, unfortunately, until some sort of disaster forces it to be different.
I mean, I'm hoping that this is the disaster, and then it improves from here.
Yeah, you and I often have conversations about your hopes.
I'm a
You
dreamer.
keep hoping for that no day too. Keep hoping for that no day, babe.
Whatever. I'll keep hoping for world peace.
World peace and no days. No days for moms and world peace for all. I wish I lived in your world. That would be such a. I mean, do you just
One day,
eat?
Maybe you will.
I mean, for real. Do you eat candy corn for breakfast every day?
Ew, gross. Candy corn. Sorry to all the people who like candy corn, but
all three of you. Yeah. If you like this short clip, make sure you click here to see the next clip, or here to see the full podcast episode.
Freedom! So fresh, so new.